Hello and welcome back everyone, we're of course back, and today we're back for yet another guide on Hypixel Skyblock, and today is going to be all about why you should be using the Badlion Client for Hypixel Skyblock. Some people of course will say that other mods are better, like, I don't even know what exactly they are, but there are mods that people will say are better, but in my personal opinion, this is the absolute best client or mod or anything that you can use for Hypixel Skyblock, and let me show you why. Now, first off, I'm actually not going to be showing you how to download the Badlion Client, but a good friend of mine, West107, actually has recently posted an amazing video going over all the details on how to download it, and it should help you out a ton. I'm going to be leaving a link to it up in the top corner and in the description, so, you know, if you missed the corner one, go down there and have a look for that video. Anyway, though, what I am going to be explaining is how to set up the Badlion Client and what it can help you with, because there are a ton of things that it can do. So, first off, the Badlion Client it's a client. It's a collection of a bunch of different mods. It's not just one mod. So, you get a lot of options for what you can do. As you can see here, these are all the mods that you can have. Most of them, as you can tell by me not having them active, aren't very helpful. But there are, of course, things like Waypoints, and Zoom, and Weather Changer, and all of these things that you can see here. Now, Weather Changer and Time Changer might not be for everyone, especially if you are playing Survival, but for videos like these, it helps to keep the, surrounding time and weather perfectly nice, solid, clear daytime. So, if you like to play something like this where the time of day doesn't matter too much, this is going to help a bunch with just kind of keeping everything nice and clean and bright and all that. So, it's a nice mod to have activated. Now, you can also use the zoom, which is a great zoom. You can set your own keybind to it. I have mine as C, and as you can see, it is not just a normal zoom like on Optifine or many other mods, but you can zoom in further or even zoom out a bit with your mouse wheel. So, in my opinion, this is actually the best zoom that I've used, but I haven't used too many different zooms. I've just used Optifine and a couple other random ones in other mods, but this is still by far my favorite. Now, the Badlion Client also has a Waypoints mod, like I said, and generally you're not going to be using Waypoints too much. This isn't normal survival, you don't need to find where your home is or anything, but this can be very helpful for finding very specific areas. As you can see here, I have waypoints for the Urania Cave in the Crimson Isles. I have just a couple of different helpful waypoints for things that you might want to find kind of quickly. And I have some for the Crystal Hollows, one for the Rift. But anyway, on to the main point again. You can set these waypoints anywhere. You can customize them as much as you want. As you can see, let's say I wanted to make a new waypoint. Have it just be named, because I don't care enough about naming it, but you can rename it to whatever you want. You can change the coordinates, so say you are in the Crystal Hollows, someone gives you the coordinates for something you're trying to get to, you can make a new waypoint, put in those coordinates, find it really easily. You can change colors, you can make it a global waypoint, you can have it just be a text marker or just exist, dimension specific, Badlion font or Minecraft font. There is a ton of various useful customization that you can do here, and basically the sky's the limit, or well, this much scrolling is the limit, but there isn't much more customization that you could possibly need for a simple waypoint. So, the good old Badlion Client will have you covered so much when it comes to waypoints, and you'll never really have to worry about them again, just as easy as going into the mod setting, or the mods option, not a setting, going to waypoints. I do suggest favoriting it so that you can get there fast, and then just going into it, making a waypoint, easy as that. There are even a bunch of simple quality of life or only even aesthetic options that you can do, such as item physics. Now that is a very slight thing, and it's not going to change a ton when you're actually playing, of course, but if you like just having nice aesthetic little things while you're playing, and you for some reason drop things a lot, this is definitely a good little mod to have activated when you're using Badlion. And as you can see right here, it's just called item physics, so you can scroll down, find that, favorite it, because favorites are of course easier to find, and then you'll have some easy item physics. And you can also, of course, customize this too, to have things rotate really fast, like this, or to have things rotate really slow, like that. There was almost no rotation there. Now, as you can see, there's even some things that you can just simply use your F3 commands for, so pressing F3 and then another button, such as chunk borders, but with Badlion, it's of course way easier because you can just activate it, and you can also customize every detail about it that you could possibly want to customize. You can have a scoreboard like I have on the side right there. That's not natural, that's added in through this mod. You can have a boss bar, which will show you your objective up at the top, like that. If I don't have that on, that of course goes away. Looks pretty plain without it, you know, it brings some nice color to the screen. You can have various chat things, which are really good because you can have it where you can have infinite history. So you can basically just scroll up in chat however far you want. There is no limit to chat anymore, you can just go up as far as you want. Now though, we're on to the big one, the Skyblock mod. Now, this comes with a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to go through every bit of it, but I do want to go through the main ones for how you're going to want to set it up when you first get started with Badlion. Then I'm going to leave some more of the kind of exploring around the mods to you. But what you're really going to want when you're starting out are, of course, the Bazaar helper, suggestions, show item price. These are going to be great. Now, for some reason, right now it's not working for me. That could just be me, I could have accidentally pressed a button that changed something, I don't know. But that generally will work, and it'll show you how much your item generally can sell for on the auction house and on the bazaar. So it's a pretty helpful thing, and I've actually had people asking how to do that in the comments. So if you're seeing this video, that's how to do it. Now you can also of course have tons of customization for basically anything else in Skyblock, as you just saw, but the main things for dungeons that you're going to want are generally going to be dungeon score calculator, because if you get a high enough score, you can be sure that you'll get an S+. You can have it auto-accept reparty invites, since a lot of people in dungeons, when you start doing them a lot, will reparty after each one. You can have just all of these different things, and they're going to help an absolute ton in customizing your dungeon experience. Now this one here should be in the dungeon section of the mod, but for some reason it isn't. But it will show the dungeon chest profit calculator. So basically, it'll tell you, you know, say you've got a hot potato book that's worth about 70k last I saw, in a chest that costs 50k. It will tell you, you know, there's 20k profit in here, just so that you're kind of aware of that really easily without having to do any mental math or anything like that. So that one's really helpful too. Now there's of course a ton of different quality of life things that you can customize too. You can have the jungle axe cooldown, which I definitely suggest if you do a lot of foraging in the park and all that. You can avoid breaking stems, so if you're big on farming, that's going to be helpful. You can, you know, hide players near NPCs, which if you've ever been to the bazaar with a bunch of people around it, you'll know that that's going to be helpful, because sometimes you can't even click on the bazaar, there's so many people. You can open presents easier, you can do all of these things. I'm not going to talk about every single thing, as I said, but there's so many things that you can easily customize with the quality of life. Now, when it comes to solvers though, this is honestly one of the best ones that you can actually do, mainly because of the experimentation table solver. Now I'm going to be showing you this in just a moment, but basically just any dungeon puzzle will have a pretty easy solver in here, or in one of the other areas of the Badlion mod for Skyblock. Now, a lot of these are really helpful. You can do the tic-tac-toe, the silverfish path, all this, and those are really common puzzles, so it's pretty good to have. Anyway, let's get on to that solver for the experimentation table, because that one is really, really useful. Now say you've just gotten a bunch of XP, you know, you're at level 100, whatever you have to be for your enchanting table's level, you can go and you can do the, you know, various extra solvers, the add-on experiment, and I'm just going to show as an example right now. As you can see, it will highlight these, and it will also tell you the pattern. So there's basically no way of you getting it wrong or forgetting. This is entirely allowed by Skyblock because it doesn't do it for you or anything like that. You're not going to get banned for this. There was actually a big thing where people were using more cheaty ones of these that would just do it for you, and those people got banned, but this will not get you banned. And as you can see, you can just do this to your heart's content. If you wanted to, you could do it for as long as you wanted and get just a ton of easy enchanting XP. But I'm gonna end it right there because I got one extra super pair click and I don't really care about getting more. And I'm gonna show you the Ultra Sequencer add-on experiment now, which is even better. This one will show you which one it is, and it will show you the number, and it's basically going to make it impossible to lose on this one as well. But you still, of course, have to do it, keep an eye on it, make sure you're doing it right. So, this is going to be helpful as well, but after this one, I'm going to end it here as well, so that I can show you the main experiment, the super pair. Now, let's go into the Supreme experiment, and as you can see, this looks pretty normal. But if I start clicking on things, it'll show what I've clicked on last, and it'll show what there is to click on. Once again, you won't get banned for this. This is allowed by Skyblock standards, but it's going to help you so much if you're kind of struggling with getting the right items on here. You know, say you saw a good item, and then you just kind of didn't get it, like that. Sometimes you won't get every item because the experience bottles sometimes will have similar but hard to distinguish textures. So sometimes if you're going for them like that, you will miss them. That's just kind of bound to happen. But when it comes to getting XP, or say a book, like an enchanting book with some kind of really good ultimate enchant, something like that. Or not ultimate enchant, I don't know if you can get those through here, but say you're getting a really good normal enchant, you can find it really easily, and you can keep an eye on where it is. Now, as you can see, I just got way more than I would have otherwise, just because I spent that extra time, you know, got the good old Badlion Client, and used its solver. So, let's see what there is to take note of next. Now, as you can see, it has options for Slayer, for skills, for the End, for Crimson Isles, for so many different things. Basically, anything you do in Skyblock, you can have some sort of effect on it by Badlion. I don't think there's anything for the Rift yet, but I know that they're going to add something soon. It probably won't be for a bit, but I have no doubt in my mind that the next update for Badlion will have something for the Rift, because that's just how they do it. They do things very fast, very efficiently, very well. And as you can see in the End, you can have Zealot counter, you can have all these special things, Special Zealot Alert, which is a very helpful one for if you're trying to farm Zealots. And just all around, you can have a lot of helpful things. And in the Crimson Isles, you can have all sorts of different things to help in here too. But the big thing here is the Fairy Souls. Now, as you can see, I have went to my newer profile that I used last episode too, to show you the Fairy Souls tab in here, because this is probably one of the most helpful things that you can possibly have. Now, you can of course look up a guide for where every Fairy Soul is, and it'll take a long time, it'll be really tedious to find them, or you can go to Badlion, you can go into the Skyblock tab, you can go to Fairy Souls, turn on Fairy Soul Waypoints, and as you can see, they will all be there. Now, some of them will of course be easier to find than others. For example, this one in the well, you can just simply go down, get it, easy, done, no problem at all. Some of them will be harder to find, some of them you'll need specific items to get, but generally, knowing the location, seeing them with a waypoint and all this, makes it so much easier. And you can of course also customize the color, so say I wanted to make them straight up white, red, yellow, whatever color you might want to make them, you can easily make them that color. You can even toggle them just by a keybind extremely easily. And say you have found a bunch of them and just want to see where they are for some reason, you can even reset them at any time. Now, there's still a lot here that I haven't talked about yet. For example, the HUD, where you can see, you know, hide your food and armor bar, because otherwise you're going to have all this nonsense going on. You can have a rock pet counter. You can have a timer for Jacob's contest. You can have a dark auction timer. You can have just so many different things up on your screen, or you can have so few things. So say you don't want any of this, you don't have to have it. You can specifically do very specific things, as I said. I meant to be clicking that one, and that'll clear up your screen, of course. You can even hide your vanilla health bar, but personally I don't like doing that just because seeing the hearts go down, of course, is a bit easier than watching the numbers go down. But having a mana bar, if you like that, mana number, health bar, if you like that, defense number even, defense percentage, there's so many different things that you can have here. There's even a booster cookie timer. As you can see up in the top right corner, it says I have 2 days left on mine. And just so many things that you can have set up to your liking. Now you may be wondering, how do you have it to your liking if when you turn it on, it just kind of does what it wants, puts it where it wants and all that? Well, say I wanted to have this mana bar, I could click on this and it'll say enable GUI editing. Now it's going to give a bit of an explanation, tell you what's going on and all that, and I can just move this wherever I want. So say I wanted it right there. That looks nice. And then you can just escape out of there. No problem. Now I have a mana bar selected or put exactly where I want it to be. There's a whole section for player stats. You can have, you know, a player viewer and all this. And this actually will basically let you see net worth of anyone you choose. So right now I can go there, 99 million. Generally, for some reason, I have way over that, but for some reason I guess it just kind of decided that I don't. You can see stats, you can see anything that you want for any of their profiles, so that's going to be really helpful if you ever just kind of want to check up on how your friend's doing on Skyblock, you know, see how much progress they're making or anything like that. Now the last thing I'm going to be talking about for the Skyblock aspect of this is actually the items/inventory tab. This one's pretty complicated, there's a lot that you can customize, but the main thing that I'm going to be talking about and showing on here is actually the lock inventory slots option. You can also have hotbar drop confirmation, you know, prevent selling and dropping rare items, all of these that will kind of help if you're just kind of not good with keeping your items, let's just say that. So say you have a bit of an issue with accidentally throwing out your weapon, well, you can just press your keybind and you can lock it. So now if I try to throw this out, the slot is locked, cannot throw it unless if I turn off that lock. So that's of course going to be really helpful and nice for if you, once again, are throwing out your items on accident a lot, you know, if you got them big fingers or if you're just inaccurate when typing, anything like that, it's going to help a ton. Now there is just one more thing I wanted to mention about Badlion when it does come to Skyblock at least. You can of course go and, once again, you're of course going to want to go to the Skyblock option and then to the items and inventory section, and just down here at the very bottom you can see enhanced minion menu. Now there's once again a lot more down there that you can look for, but if you look over here at a random minion, you will actually be able to see all of the various details that might be helpful, but the most helpful of it will be the profit. So for example, you can leave your minions overnight, and in the morning you can see which minion has actually made you the most money. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a very helpful thing to do for me, because this will show, you know, the difference of how helpful the Emerald minion is, how helpful this is, even though this is mostly for collections, and especially how much money all these minions are making me in actuality. Because since I wait to sell everything, I of course save up a good amount of their items, and seeing how much they've made will be very helpful, and, you know, save me a bit of time of thinking, which one makes the most money? It'll basically do that for me. And as you may have noticed, you can also see the experience that you will be getting when you collect all this. So, another great thing to have, great little detail of all of this. I'm not entirely sure about all of these top details, but as I said, the main thing here is the XP and the profit. Now, the absolute final thing that I want to say about Badlion is, quite simply, have fun with it. Now you may be wondering, what do I mean by that? Well, once again, quite simply, turn on stupid things that don't really do much. Make your GUI look stupid. As you can see here, I've got a very large hotbar, very large mouse. I can even make the actual inventory a ton bigger. Or, alternatively, you could play with all of these things being tiny. Now, that's not really much of a challenge, of course, but it is still a fun option if you ever want to just kind of play in a weird way. And you can even make it larger than that. For example, that's a big inventory interface, because for some reason on Minecraft, auto is always bigger than large. And you can of course do basically anything with that. As you saw in this video, there's a ton of various things that you can kind of just select and have up on your screen. Like, as you can see in the top right corner, I've got mouse strokes and keystrokes on right now. And that, with all the Hypixel stuff, with my CPS, with the running speed, and with the various other stuff, you can see how that would get cluttered real fast. And of course, if you are a fan of that clutter, and just want to have a bit of fun, you know, playing Minecraft dumb way, Badlion can definitely do that for you. Anyway, that is of course all for today. Definitely, once again, make sure to check out that video from West107. As I said, I'm going to be linking it in the description, and that can do so much better of a job of explaining how to install and download and get Badlion set than I possibly could, while still trying to keep this video relatively short. So, definitely check it out. And then of course, set up Badlion to your liking, and get on Skyblock. Go find some fairy souls. Do what you gotta do. But, if this video has helped you at all, definitely make sure to leave a like. It helps a ton with the algorithm and with getting this video out to more people who might need it. And definitely make sure to comment down below either if you played Badlion with weird stuff on your screen, you know, just for the fun of it, if you played with a massive hotbar or anything like that. Comment really whatever you want. Or definitely any suggestions for other guides or games to play in the future. And last but certainly not least, definitely make sure to subscribe. We are, of course, almost at 500 subscribers. We may have already made it by the time this video actually gets posted. But, as of right now, I think we only need like 5 more people. So, if we haven't made it by then, make sure to subscribe. It'll help a ton. And if we have made it by then, definitely make sure to subscribe either way. What are you doing? We gotta get to 1,000. And, ooh, I haven't even thought about what to do for 1,000 yet. But it's gonna be big. So, with that, that is of course the very end. So, thank you all very much for watching. Till next time, everyone, and goodbye.